Welcome to The Pony Who Says No. This is Tia, and we're doing a session to test his readiness for bareback mounting. Tia has an issue with bodily contact. He had a negative experience with a farrier who forced his body onto him and forced him into some holds, and Tia threatened and fought his way out of that pressure. So he has learnt that threatening, nipping, pinning his ears back can get him what he wants. And in particular, bodily contact. So I'm testing his readiness by checking out how he reacts to things on his body. He's quite accepting of contact on his body. He has actually had a little saddle on him. He's fine with things flapping around him. He's fine with things being put on him, but he does have an issue with steady pressure. So I'm doing some tests here, putting him into a body bind to see how he responds, and he is reacting here. So his initial reaction was to fight the pressure, to pull against the rope rather than going with it. And so I'm just maintaining the hold. I'm purposely not making it easy for him. I'm expecting him to think his way out of it because he has done these things before. And in the right situation, if I set things up really calmly, if I make sure I spend lots of time relaxing him, then he can work through these things very well. But preparing him for bareback mounting and for being started under saddle means that he does need to have a better tolerance and more depth of understanding. So I am purposely asking quite a lot of him to test that readiness. As you can see, he was a bit more responsive on the other side. Here I'm doing some front end yields, which he does perfectly. Tia's great on a lead rope. He's a really confident pony. He will see the farrier okay now, picks up his feet nicely. And I can touch him all over, but the problem is with me putting my body on his, wrapping myself around him. He can have other things wrapped around him. I've put a rope around his belly, but he has a real struggle with humans being very close to him and putting pressure on him in some way, whether that's jumping up and down or leaning on him. As you can see here, he's got some negative expression with his ears, and he would normally try and do that to get out of the situation. And so I don't want to react with anger, because what he's telling me is information, but I do need to let him know that it's not okay to nip and bite and to threaten. So I've adjusted my approach. I've lessened the intensity to take into account how he feels about it, whilst also asking him to work with me and understand what I'm asking of him. There you can see he tried to bite me as I leant on him. So I don't want to react with anger, but I want to move him on from that thought. By asking him to move his feet, I'm also saying, okay, you don't want to stand still and have me lean on you, so we'll move your feet instead. And here he keeps trying to decide when to stop, and I just have to be very persistent in asking him to keep going. We're having some struggles with leadership. He would like to be in charge in certain situations, and here he's showing his reluctance to accept my leadership. He wants to be able to decide when he can stop and stand still, and I'm saying, no, just keep going for now, please. you didn't want to stand still earlier, so we'll just keep moving your feet for a bit. And he's very committed to his idea of stopping, and I don't want to drive him with lots of intensity or force because I'm not punishing him anyway. I don't want to be trying to wear him out. I want to get to his mind. I want him to just understand that I'm asking him to keep going, that I'm deciding when to stop. And then when we do stop, the energy comes down, and I'm trying to make the standing still and my bodily contact a really pleasant experience. Although I think at the moment he experiences it more as though I'm an annoying fly or something that he just needs to get rid of. It wasn't helpful that on this day the flies were a problem as well, so there were a few times I wasn't sure if he was nipping at me or if he was going for a fly, so that was adding a little bit of confusion to the situation. But that was definitely him going for me. So again, I'm saying, okay, you don't want to stand still and do that, we'll move your feet. And it's a pattern that I'll just keep repeating so that he understands that nipping, resisting the contact means that he has to do some work. And you can see he's not too enthused about doing some work. So there I'm yielding his hind end and bringing him to stand still, because he did keep going on a circle without me having to keep asking. I'm asking for him to back up here with some rhythmic pressure. And he is generally a lovely pony to work with. He's a real character, he's very mischievous, and he is my most mouthy pony. So he's always got things in his mouth, he's always picking stuff up. He's quite amusing. He'll always find things. He's a very funny little chap. So here I'm asking him to lower his head to create some relaxation. And generally, this is something that Tyr can do very easily. He can lower his head and he will keep his head lowered. But during this session, there's some resistance and he is feeling some discomfort. So lowering his head was a bit more problematic in this session, giving to that steady pressure of the lead rope pulling his head down. There was more resistance today because it's connected to the pressure of my body on his, I believe. So I'm just trying to introduce it gradually, establish the pattern. He stands still and I touch him and lean on him on each side. If he moves a bit, I allow it and approach again. If he persists in moving or he tries to nip, then I will over-agree with him and say, okay, if you want to back up, we'll back up. Let's back up quickly. And then when I feel him slow down, I bring him to a stop and then bring him back nice and calmly to the position of standstill and start the pattern of approaching on either side and touching him and resting my body on his. So he's still unsure here and is moving away. So I'll just over-agree with him and say, okay, you want to move your feet? Let's move your feet. That's a great idea. And now he's saying, I'm not sure if I do want to move my feet. Can't I just stop? And I'm saying, no, dear. I'd like you to keep going, please. So I'm really mindful to not be aggressive, to not sort of come at him with too much energy, to sort of match his energy. Because it's not about punishment, it's it's about trying to create a pattern where he can understand what's being asked of him, and we can work through some of the discomfort that he feels so that we can turn what was a negative experience into something positive. But it will take a bit of time. So already you can see the pattern is starting to work. He is now standing still with his head lowered, and he's allowing me to rest on his side a bit then and put my arm over to the other side without nipping or moving. There, I wasn't sure if it was a fly or me he was going for. Still not quite comfortable on his left side. He wanted to back up, so I'm over agreeing with him and saying, yes, let's back up. And then repeat the pattern, back to standstill, and try again. Lowering his head there to create relaxation. I am aware, like I said, he's finding this more challenging than he normally does. But a lot of our normal sessions, there's a lot of relaxation and calming, but I'm aware that that can be underexposing him, and if I'm going to start him under saddle, then I need to know that he is exposed, and if I'm going to get on him, bareback or with a saddle, he needs to have some understanding and tolerance for this. So it's something that we need to work through in a considerate way. Again, repeating the pattern, he started to move and back up, so I backed him up and brought him back to the position. So here he's starting to move around and back up, so he's got some negative expression there as well. So I'm asking him to yield his hind end with quite a lot of energy, because he was more committed to backing up and his negative expression that time. So I'm meeting his energy with a bit more intensity, asking him to yield his hind end on both sides nice and quickly, and then bring him back to the standstill. So he was having some chews and some licks there, which tells me that it was stressful, what he went through. He was finding it stressful, and that he's coming through that stress now. And as you can see, that shows in the way that he has now lowered his head. His whole demeanour and posture has changed. It's softer, and he allowed me then to actually lean on that side for a little while with some more pressure. And that was after the most difficult thing I'd asked him to do, where I'd met his energy with more intensity, which tells me that it was the right level of intensity. And I know that because he's been able to decompress more fully after that stress and achieve a better state of relaxation. So he started to back up then. So this time I'm asking him to back up off the head collar, which is steady pressure, which he was a bit more resistant to than doing it off of rhythmic pressure. So it's quite good to alternate to test where he's at. So repeat the pattern, bring him back to standstill. You can see there he's lowering his head. Chewing and licking. So I'm aware I am putting him through some stress, but I think the stress is at the right level for him to be able to process it and to learn from the experience. And because he has had a negative experience, it is necessary to work through this stuff in this way. So again there, I asked him to yield his hind end with a bit more intensity. And now he's standing still, he's chewing, he's licking. I don't want to stress any of the ponies out, but learning isn't possible without some stress, particularly when you're undoing a negative experience. So I just have to be mindful about how I do it to make sure that I'm not asking too much, that what I'm asking of him is achievable. And that's brilliant. There, I'm actually leaning on him quite a lot, the most that I have, and he stood still, he stood calm, he didn't nip. Good boy. And it's lovely to see how the pattern works, that you don't need to have any sort of fancy move, you don't need to be, super assertive. You just have to be persistent and you have to stick with the pattern, be clear about what you're doing, and they pick it up nice and quickly. So this is great progress from the start of the session, where I couldn't even put my arm over him because he would nip at me, to being able to actually lean on him like that is real progress. So we've got to the end of this session, nearly, and we're in a better place than we were at the start, and that's all that matters. I always want to leave him in a better frame of mind, having understood what I've asked of him, that we've had a conversation, we've had a learning experience together. And there you can see he's lowering his head, he's feeling quite relaxed about it all. So that was really positive. He really tried, he had to work through some stuff there, and it was difficult at times. I never like to see them stressed out in any way, but to do my best by him, to set him up for success in life and for us to have an exciting future together, it is necessary for us to work through these things, and we're learning together. It's lovely to see that now he just naturally lowers his head, and I can lean on him a bit, I can rest on him, and he's quite relaxed about it. That's what I want. He's being a really good boy, and I'm so impressed with how he's worked through things. So that's the end of our training session, and I always finish sessions by giving the ponies some nice scratchy time and making them feel good. There he's being his mouthy little self, a little tug of war with the head collar, and here he is enjoying some scratches on his mane. He's got his little goofy camel face going. He does pull some funny faces, and I love to see him just letting loose and enjoying himself. He's such a funny chap. I love him to bits. Thanks for watching.